Alright, so it's March 8th today. I just started pruning my first evergreen spindle outside, but it's still a bit chilly, so I decided to do some indoor work. I'll finish that up tomorrow when it's sunny and warm out. Today I want to prune and repot my lemon tree pre-bonsai that's been inside since the end of the fall. I showed this in one of my update videos, and how I had some sort of either scale insect or something, but little crawlers maybe. They left their little eggs in the leaves here. You can see the first few leaves that grew after I made this initial trunk chop here last fall, the end of last summer, and then it grew outside a little bit more. Some good leaves, well, one good leaf grew off of it. Then I brought it inside and it started to suffer. And then, I treated it with water and dish soap, and I started picking them off when I see them. I still pick off one or two every other day, but the leaves are doing much better. You can see where those little egg, larva, whatever structures started disappearing, and now the latest leaves look pretty much perfect. That one's really nice. So, this is a pretty healthy tree right now, and as you can see, it's very long and it started drooping over quite heavily, but it's still pretty straight from here to here. And I chopped it here last fall, hoping that it would split in two and I'd start getting some branching, but then only one branch grew off. I do have a little bud that has been developing here for a while, so I think today I'm gonna chop it off right there. But in the future I want to cut it back to here, because there's just really slight movement in the trunk up until here, some short internodes, and then kind of a longer one. So that's in the future, once hopefully I start getting some branching down here and I can select which one is best and then shorten the overall tree more at that point. But for now I just want to chop this, cut off the rest of the leaves. I want to repot it as well and do a bunch of root work on it. Put it in its first bonsai training pot and go from there. So first I'll just put a little bit of kind of large grain, coarse perlite and pumice and a few other things, just as kind of a drainage layer in the bottom. I can also add a little bit of soil onto there. For my mixed substrate anyways of perlite, safety zorb, and some sifted organic mix, like a succulent mix. Alright, that's enough of the pot for now. I lost my little blue chopstick type device, but if I need anything I'll just use that skewer today. So I think actually first thing I'm gonna do is make this chop. It'll make it much easier to deal with and be able to see everything better on camera. So like I said, there's a little bud coming out here, so I'll cut up here, a little room for dieback. Okay. Oops. I'll also take off the rest of these leaves. Just the old ones, like the original leaves from when this tree first started growing. Quite a while ago now. Okay, so that's what I'm left with. Hopefully I'll get some branching out of there. This is gonna stay inside in the little my little indoor greenhouse tent. I'll baby it until the spring and then get it outside when the weather's nice. The temperatures are warm and the sun's shining, and hopefully it'll grow like crazy this summer. So I'm gonna turn this into a bunch of little cuttings and I'll just plant them back in the pot it came from. I got this turntable recently, so I finally got something to turn the trees with on camera. Okay, that's enough talking. There's a bunch of roots that have been growing out the bottom there for a while. Maybe I can just pull it out by the trunk like this. This is the first time I've taken this out of its pot since I started growing it. Well, actually, since I put it in this pot. I had put a bunch of lemon seeds into a small tray probably a few years ago now. Just at least 2 years ago anyways. Just lemon seeds from a store-bought lemon. This was the only one that survived, and then I transplanted it into this pot. So it's been growing in here for, I don't know, I'll have to check my records, but probably at least a year, I would say. So there's quite a bit of roots on it. That's a really good sign. This has been growing, growing roots out of the bottom of the pot for quite a while. Nice. So I've got a lot of root to work with here. I can cut off a whole bunch of the taproot for sure. I don't know why that's kind of weird, but this part is red in there. Is that, I don't know, from something in the soil maybe? Yeah, there was some of this, what they sell as lava rock. I think some of it they just take other types of stone and dye it red. So I'm gonna have to do a whole bunch of root pruning here. I'm gonna go wash the rest of the soil off in the sink, but you can see how big this taproot is. So I'll cut off some of these higher roots, maybe in the future, because what I should do for now is just cut off a whole bunch of this taproot. It hit the bottom of the pot here and started kind of spiraling. So there's one thick root coming out the bottom. That's the end of the taproot. I think I'll chop it off back to here. Can't really see through this mass of roots, but I'll chop it off to back somewhere here. Then leave everything above it for now, all of these roots. And then hopefully they'll grow out in the future, and then I can select some of them as my radial roots, and I can select the level of the, nabari, which will eventually be lower because, you know, the trunk keeps thickening up until down here. So it'd be nice to have the, you know, the first roots coming out here somewhere, and then this be the tree. Okay, well that's got those roots really cleaned up. They look nice, almost like ramen noodles or something. Anyways, I think you can see inside there a little better now. So that's the taproot, and then right there it hit the bottom of the pot, started spiraling. So I'm gonna chop it right there, right below these roots. Try and keep, you know, that is the flat root plane at the bottom. Everything above it is pretty good. Right there. Okay, well, that takes off, you know, more than half of the root, but that's okay. This was the first root prune for this tree. It was a necessary step in its development. Oops. Just try and figure out where everything's coming from. I think I probably shouldn't take off much more than that. I'll let it grow in its new pot for the next year and then do some more root pruning around this time next year to get it ready for its next growing season. I'll just take a couple of these longer ones off. And yeah, everything else is fine for now. Just plant it flat like that on the bottom of the pot. And these, well, not the bottom of the pot, but right around there anyways. I'll just put a small mound of soil on there so I can kind of twist the roots down into the soil in the right spot. And get this camera a little closer. Oops. Guess not. Okay. And I think I want the front of the tree to be something like this, I guess. I'll show you the zoomed out version eventually, but the trunk comes up this way and then the new branch will grow out that way. The new leader, I mean. Might be planted a little high for the highest roots on the tree there, but I'll keep them in there for now and they can keep feeding the tree until it develops more roots. Don't really need to work the soil in between the roots too much. Maybe a little bit. Some of these roots are coming out of the soil a little. Sprinkle a tiny bit more on top. Keep them nice and damp. And let them work their magic. Give that a full watering over the sink. And then I'll put a few stones on top of the soil to keep it nice and stable. Yeah, to keep it nice and stable until those roots set in. Guess I might as well do the classic slow spin on this tree, even though it's just a stick in a pot. That's the new leader. It's going to grow out that way. Anyways, pretty humble beginnings for this tree, but I think it'll be something really cool in the future. Right, there's the final product. Got a lemon stick in a pot, and I was able to get 5 cuttings off of the leader that I chopped off. I took, I cut most of the leaf off of each of them, just kept a sliver of the top 2 mostly, so that I could still get a little bit of light through them, but not have to work too hard to keep them alive. So hopefully some of those will start growing some new roots. I used a little bit of rooting hormone in there, so that should up the chances a little bit. And that's it for now. Good luck to this lemon tree. Can't wait to see how it grows throughout this growing season this summer. All right, that's it. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Cheers.